Hi guys, today I wanted to share some information with you that might change the way you think about real estate investing in Toronto. So imagine this, you buy a condo expecting to flip it for profit, but instead you're being sued for close to $1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But this isn't some rare one-off situation. It's actually happening to dozens of buyers in Toronto right now. In fact, this situation hits pretty close to home for me because a few months ago, a person reached out to me looking for some help. He was actually caught up in the exact same situation. He bought not one, but two pre-construction units thinking that he would be able to sell them off before closing. Now, when that didn't happen, he couldn't get approved for a mortgage to close on those units, and now he's being sued by the builder. He told me that he felt totally blindsided by his realtor and is now left trying to figure out how to deal with a financial mess that he never saw coming. So it's stories like from this gentleman and stories of many others in this article that shows me that there's an issue that's tragically impacting the livelihoods of many people. And that's why I felt the need that this information needed to be shared. So in this video, I'm going to unpack what's happening in this article. I'm going to talk about why it's happening and most importantly, what you can do to avoid getting yourself into a similar situation. Hi there and welcome. I'm Sonia Ramgobin, a realtor with RE/MAX, servicing the Durham Region and the GTA. And as always, my hope is that these videos keep you informed and help you navigate the real estate market with confidence. All right, so let's talk about what's happening in this article. So to put things all into perspective, I'm going to give you some background information first. So during the time of the pandemic, the real estate market was pretty hot, right? Condo prices were soaring and interest rates were at a record low. So what happened was many investors and those wanting to become first-time real estate investors jumped into what they thought was a golden opportunity. And they ended up buying pre-construction units with the belief that the prices would just keep rising. So I wanted to share with you the experience from this particular person by the name of Nazar. He is one of many people that got caught up in the situation based on this article. So back in 2021, Nazar put down a deposit of $85,500 on a pre-construction studio condo in Forest Hill. The total price of the condo unit was $855,000. His realtor convinced him that this was a VIP deal and that he wouldn't even need to worry about getting a mortgage because someone else would buy the unit off of him before closing. So basically, he'd make a quick profit without ever needing a mortgage. Sounds like easy money, right? Well, fast forward to 2024 where things looked very different. The market started to cool off, interest rates shot up to 6%, and now condo prices have dipped. So Nazar can't get a mortgage. He can't find another buyer, and the developer is now suing him for $860,000 in damages. And sadly, he's not the only one. According to the Toronto Star, there's nearly 130 lawsuits just like this, all buyers that got caught up in the same situation. So why is this happening? Let's talk about some of the reasons that have led to so many buyers being in trouble with their pre-construction units. So reason number one is interest rates. So a couple of years ago, interest rates were super low, and that meant the buyers could qualify for bigger mortgages because borrowing money was cheaper. So fast forward to now, where rates are around 5%, which means monthly payments are way higher for the same loan amount. So here's the problem. A lot of people bought pre-construction units with money that was cheaper to borrow, thinking that they could easily afford it. But things changed, and it wasn't expected that the interest rates would go up. Now, when it comes time to close, they can't qualify for the same mortgage amount anymore because the interest rates are higher. And on top of that, banks won't give a mortgage for more than what the property is appraised for, so what it's worth. So let me explain further. So if you bought a pre-construction condo unit for $1 million, but now it's being appraised for $800,000, the bank will only give you a mortgage based on that $800,000 appraisal. That means you need to come up with the other $200,000 difference out of your own pocket. And for most people, that's just not realistic. So they end up in a bad situation like this. Reason number two is many people were buying pre-construction units with the intention of not living there. So this is referred to speculating. It means purchasing a property with the primary intention of reselling it quickly for profit rather than using it as a residence or long-term investments. So these people were betting that the market would keep going up. So the idea was to buy the unit early, so in that pre-construction phase, and then assign or flip the contract to someone else before it even finishes with the intention of making a nice profit. But things took a different turn. The market shifted, interest rates started to go up, the demand cooled down, and suddenly nobody wants to buy these assignments. So based on this, they ended up being no buyer, there's no profit, and then they're stuck with a unit that they can't afford. So they're in a really tough situation to be in. And finally, the third reason is that many people were sold on a dream without fully understanding the risk involved. So let me explain further. At that time, there was a lot of excitement and buzz around the housing market, especially with condos. Prices were rising quickly, and it felt like everyone was talking about how much money could be made. Some real estate agents and developers actually leaned into this hype, and they were promoting it as a can't lose opportunity, right? They painted a picture of fast and easy profits. And that message was incredibly tempting, not just for first-time investors, but even those with experience. So for many, it felt like a no-brainer opportunity, right? They were told that it was a smart, profitable move and that they needed to act quickly before prices start to climb even higher. But what got lost in the excitement was the reality that every investment carries risk. Nothing is ever guaranteed. Unfortunately, a lot of people jumped in without fully understanding those risks. And instead of making decisions based on careful planning, they were driven by emotion and fear of missing out. And now many of them are stuck in a tough situation because of it. So now that we know how this all came about to happen, let's talk about what we can learn from all of this. And so here are my biggest takeaways from all of this. Number one, never buy real estate you can't afford to close on. So even if you do plan to sell before closing, always be prepared for the worst case scenario. Ask yourself, if I can't sell this property before closing, can I still afford to close on this deal? I always encourage my clients to have a backup plan. It's not just about having the cash to close. You need to consider whether you could secure a mortgage or cover the carrying costs or hold the property longer if needed. There needs to be a plan in place always. Number two, take into consideration that interest rates can change. So when you're buying pre-construction, you need to think long term. What looks like an affordable mortgage at the time of signing can become unmanageable by the time you actually take possession of the home. So when you buy pre-construction, you're committing to something that won't be ready for years, right? So in that time, interest rates can change. So you want to be prepared in case that happens. You have to ask yourself, what happens if rates are higher when it's time to close? Will I still qualify? Will I still be able to afford it? And number three, always do your own due diligence. It's normal to lean on professionals like realtors, mortgage brokers, or sales agents when you're making a big decision in real estate. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Many of them are genuinely wanting to help. But remember, in the end, this is your money and your decision. A trustworthy realtor won't pressure you. They'll actually encourage you to speak with all the experts you need so you can make an informed decision that fits your situation. That might include maybe talking to a mortgage broker to see what you can actually afford, or speaking with a financial advisor to understand where this fits into your future plans, or connecting with a real estate lawyer to explain the fine print and protect your interests. So in my opinion, if someone is pushing you to act fast without giving you the time to think or do your homework, that's a red flag. You should feel confident and not rushed at all. So I hope you found this information helpful. I definitely don't want to see anyone else get caught up in this kind of financial situation. If you're looking to buy a pre-construction unit, I actually made another video that dives into how you can make sure that you're working with a trustworthy, reputable builder. So if that interests you, check out this video right over here. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and consider subscribing. Feel free to reach out if you have any question or comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.